All right, let's get right into it. If you're a new consultant or a freelancer, you know there's one mountain that just seems impossible to climb, landing that very first paying client. Well, this is the story of how that mountain was conquered, from total crushing failure to a flood of new business.
So after 6 months of what felt like really hard work, setting up the LLC, building the website, buying all the courses, learning the new tools, this was the number that actually mattered. 0. A big fat 0. That's how many paying clients are on the books.
It's a question that keeps so many of us up at night, right? And in this explainer, we're not just going to give you the answer. We're going to walk you through the painful but totally necessary journey it took to find it.
So, our story kicks off in a place that feels incredibly productive, but in reality, it's generating exactly $0. It's a classic trap, and it's called the illusion of progress.
I mean, you look at this checklist, right? Every single item on here feels like a real step forward. You feel like a legit professional. You've got the infrastructure. But all of this creates a really dangerous illusion because it completely misses one critical point.
And here it is. This is the lesson, right here. Building a fancy, empty storefront is not the same thing as having a line of paying customers out the door. This was the first major, painful lesson.
Okay, so with the whole setup complete, it was finally time to, actually sell. And this next phase, it was just a relentless series of rejections, a true gauntlet that tested every single bit of resolve. The first real strategy was born from a warm lead that went cold. So the new plan was to target the cleaning industry with a massive cold outreach campaign.
And that's the number. 400 manual emails sent out over 2 grueling months to every single cleaning company that could be found in the Denver area. 400 shots fired into the dark.
And here's what came back. Pretty much nothing. The lesson here was brutal but crystal clear. Trying to sell cool new tech to a market with insane competition and paper-thin margins is a losing battle. They're just trying to survive, not transform.
All right, so cold outreach was a bust. Let's move on to the next attempt. This one started with a warm lead, the owner of a local Ninja Warrior gym. The first call went great, and excitement was super high.
The proposal was an absolute beast. It had AI, it had automations, market research, the whole shebang. It was basically designed to prove how smart the consultant was. But instead of solving one clear problem, it was just overwhelming. A classic case of selling complexity instead of clarity.
The third big swing was with a local swim school. After a couple of great meetings, a really polished proposal was sent over. The solution this time? An AI-powered internal knowledge base. Now, it was technically really cool, but it had one fatal flaw. It had no direct line to making more money. The result? Total radio silence. He got ghosted.
Okay, so after months of just hitting a wall, something had to change. And this wasn't just some little strategy tweak. This was a fundamental, ground-up shift in thinking, all sparked by one incredibly powerful idea.
This concept, from the entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, was the lightning bolt. It completely reframed the entire problem. All of a sudden, the goal wasn't to sell a complicated AI service. It was to create an offer so valuable, so obvious, that the client would feel like an idiot for saying no.
And this shows the change perfectly. The focus shifted away from the tech, from what impressive thing can I build, and squarely onto the customer's most painful problems. Specifically, problems tied directly to making money.
So, what is a revenue-adjacent problem? It's just something that a business owner instantly understands because it hits their bottom line. Think about Google reviews. More good reviews, that leads to more trust, and more trust leads to more sales. It's simple, it's clear, and it's incredibly valuable.
So, armed with this brand new insight, it was time to put it into action. This is the story of how that first, impossible, yes, was finally captured.
Just look at how simple and clear this offer is. There are no complex systems, no tech jargon. It just solved an obvious problem for a house sitter who lived and died by his reputation. It pushed for positive reviews and helped manage the negative ones. It was super low risk and incredibly high value.
And there it is, the Stripe notification. That single payment did way more than just bring in some money. It changed an identity. No longer an aspiring consultant, but an actual consultant.
And with that one win, the confidence just exploded. Armed with a proven simple offer, the floodgates opened. What took 6 months to get to 0 took just 1 month to get to 9. The proof was right there in the results.
But the final piece of the puzzle wasn't about the offer itself. It was about focus. It was the evolution from being a generalist who helped anybody to becoming a true specialist.
This real-world conversation says it all, doesn't it? I'm an AI consultant is just vague. It's fuzzy. People's minds don't know what to do with it. But I specialize in helping gyms. That's specific. It immediately triggers a file in their brain and makes them think of people they know. And the proof is right here. This was the number of high-quality, gym-related referral leads that came in during 1 month alone. Specificity doesn't limit your opportunities. It creates what you could call referral velocity.
So after all that, what can you actually take away from this whole journey? Let's boil down all these hard-won lessons into a clear, actionable blueprint that you can use starting today.
Here it is, the 5 core principles. First, pick a market that can actually afford you. Second, sell a result, not the process. Third, make sure that result is tied to revenue. Fourth, make the first step a super simple yes. And finally, niche down to become the go-to person who actually gets referrals.
And that's really the crucial thing to end on. Having the technical skill, the AI skill, that's just the ticket to get in the game. But how you position that skill, who you decide to sell it to, and the specific problem you solve, that is the multiplier. That's what determines whether you struggle for months or you close 9 clients in 30 days.